Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Live at 5. Not Live at 5. Welcome to Hot Topics. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to drink more coffee. As you know, I'm on the road doing the book tour. I'm in Washington, D.C. So I appreciate you joining us this morning. And I want to get you all caught up. This is a show where we get you all caught up. We were off a day or so because of my schedule. I had to do a breakfast yesterday for the Congressional Black Caucus. Some interesting conversations. But do you have your coffee? You guys awake? By the way, happy Friday, right? TGIF. And so I'm so glad that you're joining us. I would like to hear from you. I want to know what you want to talk about this morning as well. But so good morning and welcome to the Don Lemon Show, Hot Topics. We have a lot to unpack this morning. But as I was preparing this morning early, I had a late night drinking my coffee with the producers. We were collecting videos, we're reading up on all the day's news. And you know what we realized? That there are four extremely important women in the country right now, in American politics, really. Four women who define, in one way or another, the next decade, really, or more of this country's future. Now, that's really important. Some of them that you're going to know, and you're going to go, of course, right? Some of them that you've heard of. Others you may not be familiar with, and you're going to go, what the hell are you talking about, Don? So I want to talk about all of them this morning, all right? So, of course, it is the Vice President, Kamala Harris. Of course, it is Taylor Swift. You may be surprised, Jill Stein, right? The Green Party member who runs all the time and people think she's a spoiler. And then there's someone named Laura Loomer. So you know the first two. What about Stein and Loomer? Even if you have never heard of their names, they are tremendously critical figures in this election. Jill Stein is running for president and as a Green Party nominee. Laura Loomer she was once just this online far-right troll kind of influencer type. And now she is one of Donald Trump's biggest strategists, okay? So this is what we're going to discuss this morning, because you saw what the thumbnail says, that there is this huge pollster, very influential, usually a GOP operative, who is saying that this debate, he believes, and I can't believe it, it's, you guys know Frank Luntz, he was hesitant to go out on a limb, but he did. He believes that this debate is going to lose Donald Trump the election. So this is what we're going to talk about. There's a national poll that's coming out from the Morning Consult, and it has Harris now leading Donald Trump 50-45. That is the largest lead ever in the Morning Consult poll. What's more, there's an Ipsos Reuters poll. Harris is leading Donald Trump 47-42. This is after the debate. Americans clearly believe that she won the debate, and Trump is sounding more and more unhinged at rallies. Hillary Clinton has a new book out where she is detailing her reaction to Harris ascending to the top of the Democratic ticket. So let's get started, okay? Let's go over what I want to catch you up on. This is Frank Luntz. Just to give context of what is going on here, Frank Luntz is on with Piers Morgan the other day after the debate, I believe it was yesterday, talking about how he believes Donald Trump is going to lose. Watch.
Kamala won, and does that mean she may now win the election?
I think more accurately it's that Donald Trump lost. And this is not the worst debate performance I've seen in my career, but it's very close to it. The conversations about people eating dogs and cats, calling the leader of Hungary one of the greatest world leaders, repeatedly missing the opportunity to focus on inflation and affordability, and the complete inability to present his point of view without completely tearing into Joe Biden, into whomever was in his sights. It was a pretty negative performance, pretty pessimistic, cynical, contemptuous, and I think that this will cost him. Yes, I'm trying to decide if I want to go on record, and the answer is yes. I think that he loses because of this debate performance.
Wow.
Did you hear that? That is shocking to me. Again, as I said, now, listen, Frank Luntz is very careful. He's usually a conservative operative, right? And, he's never really been a Donald Trump supporter. But to hear him say that he believes he's going out on a limb and he believes that this is going to cost him the election. That is huge. And so I want to get into these polls. I showed you this morning consult poll. I showed you the Ipsos poll. Now, everyone is talking about Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is very critical, but so is North Carolina. North Carolina is very critical. And if we put this up now, I want to put it up. Look at the poll. This is in North Carolina. Kamala Harris is leading 50% to 47%. That's huge because North Carolina is critical to this election. She has closed the gap here. She was, well, I shouldn't say she was losing. Joe Biden was losing in North Carolina. And now Kamala Harris is winning in North Carolina. This is a Quinnipiac University poll that was taken. Also in Wisconsin as well. Look at Wisconsin, which is very critical. 52% for Harris in this Marquette University Law School poll to 48%. That is outside of the margin of error. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper has a message to Republicans and to Donald Trump about the polls and what is happening in North Carolina. He's being outspent, outmanned, outgunned, and he's losing. And if he does lose North Carolina, this is what Governor Cooper says.
Trump spent more money in August in North Carolina than any other state because they're panicking. They know that Kamala Harris is at least tied or maybe even taking the lead in North Carolina. Donald Trump has no other path to the presidency. He must win North Carolina. We know that if Kamala Harris wins North Carolina, she is the next president of the United States. We did this in 2008. North Carolina voted for Barack Obama and made history. North Carolina is ready to make history again.
You heard that? North Carolina is ready to make history again. If he loses North Carolina, Vice President Kamala Harris is the president of the United States. And right now, he is losing North Carolina. And one of the main reasons why he is losing North Carolina, number one, well, you heard him said he's being outgunned and outmanned. But it's also because of some of his antics. And I think people are over it. If you watch that debate, you may have, if you're a member of MAGA, you may think, oh my God, he's strong and he steamrolled her or whatever. But I think people are tired of his bullshit. And so they're going the other way or turning the page or moving forward, as Kamala Harris says. She reminded him in that debate, I just want to remind you, she reminded people in that debate about the lunacy of Donald Trump and all the chaos that is going on around him, starting with inviting people to go to his rallies. And he is out at his rallies after the debate, trying to make up lost ground that he lost during the debate and responding to everything she hit him on and won. Watch, this is from Morning Joe.
I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies. It's a really interesting thing to watch.
Women, I won't be following you around to the hospital, monitoring.
And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
By the way, her crowds are zero. Her crowd, she's got no crowds.
And I will tell you, the one thing you will not hear him talk about is you.
They take in the geese. You know where the geese are? In the park, in the lake. And even walking off with their pets. My dog's been taken.
You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires.
I always liked him. I'm not going to watch him anymore. I'm not going to watch him because he's not legit, what he did. I'm not going to watch him. And his hair's not as good as it used to be, you know?
I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first.
The parents, Mom, Dad, they're so proud. She gets, come on, baby, you can do it. You saw it. Well, can't do it. She couldn't get it up.
And I pledge to you that I will.
My wife hates when I do this. She says it's so unprecedented.
I mean, there you go. Now, why would you want to vote for someone who acts like that, who does that? She's right on about his rallies. And I think usually the people who pay the most attention to his rallies obviously are the MAGA folks, and they know what's going on there. But very rarely do people watch it. Just say, I can't watch it. It's crazy, right? But she invited people to watch his rallies. And I think that was a really smart idea because they get to see just how crazy he is. And you know who is the most turned off? Like guys may be like, oh, that's so funny. But I think women are the most turned off. And women are going to decide this election. And there are a couple of women who are going to help decide this election, who are going to work for Kamala Harris. One of those women is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton has a new book coming out, and she writes about, in her foreword, the moment that Joe Biden, the president, dropped out of the race and how it energized her and what a historic moment she believes that is and what it meant to her. This is an excerpt from her book.
Got off the phone with the vice president. I looked at Bill with a huge smile and said, "This is exciting." I felt promise. I felt possibility. It was exhilarating. When I imagine Kamala standing before the Capitol next January, taking the oath of office as our first woman president, my heart leaps. After hard years of division, it will prove that our best days are still ahead and that we are making progress on our long journey toward a more perfect union. And it will make such a difference in the lives of hardworking people everywhere. For now, thinking about this momentous period, I find myself turning back to where this book began. As Joni Mitchell sang all those years ago, something's lost, but something's gained. Democrats have lost our standard bearer. We will miss Joe Biden's steady leadership, deep empathy, and fighting spirit. He is a wise and decent man who served our country well. Yet we have gained much too: a new champion, an invigorated campaign, and a renewed sense of purpose.
So there you go. There was the reaction from Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton obviously talked about breaking glass ceilings and being a first. Kamala Harris is not talking about that. She's not talking about that, and she is she wants to win, obviously Hillary Clinton as well, on the merits. But I think it's very smart of her not to discuss those things because they're obvious. We know if she wins, she's going to be the first woman of color, the first woman of a number of different demographics or ethnicities, because she is a mixed woman. Also married to a Jewish man. Interracial marriage. A lot of firsts will happen if Kamala Harris becomes the president of the United States. Okay? Now, I just want to say, as they were talking about Kamala Harris becoming the first president of the United States, there have been so many things. Ashley J., who's in the comments, thank you, Ashley. Ashley J. said, breaking news, Kamala Harris has provided examples of the debate questions with the assumptions that Trump would be fact-checked, and the moderator was her sorority sister. Seriously? Okay, well, listen, we know none of that is true, that she wasn't provided debate questions. Every single question asked in that debate has been asked before. Standard debate questions. Where do you stand on the economy? January 6th, you were saying that the election was stolen. Those are questions that, and the first question, are you better off now than the last 4 years? It's asked every time. So this whole thing about, by the way, thank you, Ashley, for the supporting independent media, but your assumption about that is BS. None of that is true. And the moderators, her sorority sister, there are 360,000 Alpha Kappa Alphas plus in the country. It's not like they live in the same dorm room. They didn't even attend at the same time. They don't belong to the same chapters. There are fraternities and sororities all over the country for white folks and black folks, for women and men, with millions of people who are sorority sisters and fraternity brothers. That doesn't mean you know them. So that's BS. Reaching, trying to find something to make up for Donald Trump's poor performance. He lost. His performance was terrible. There's no one shilling at ABC News for Kamala Harris. I know you'd like to think that, but that shit ain't happening. All right? That's BS. And the whole thing about the earrings or whatever, those were Tiffany earrings. There weren't earrings where you could hear or whatever. I mean, you guys are trying everything, and it's embarrassing. I like to see it. We love to see it, though. We love to see it. And by the way, someone said, Don is a shield for the Democrats. He says he's an independent. No, I'm an independent. This is the first time that I said how I feel because I'm on the side of democracy. And I think Donald Trump is a unique threat to our democracy. If there was a Mitt Romney or a Jack Kemp type on the Republican side, I wouldn't say that because they aren't unique threats to our democracy. They are traditional, old school Republicans with values that some people disagree with and some people agree with. That's normal politicking. Donald Trump, there's nothing normal about him. There's nothing normal about criminal counts. There's nothing normal about assaulting women. There's nothing normal about trying to overthrow the government in an election. There's nothing normal about having police officers beaten and then pretending that you support the blue. Nothing is normal about that. And if you support that, you're in a cult. If you believe that Black men especially should comply with the orders of police officers, then you must have that same stance as it relates to Ashley Babbitt, who defied the orders of officers in the Capitol on January 6th and suffered the consequences. Logic, truth, accuracy, not hypocrisy. Okay? So another woman who is going to help decide the fate of the next presidency and who is supporting Kamala Harris is Taylor Swift. Okay? So Taylor Swift, as we know, she came out the night of the election, of the debate, right after the debate ended and said, hey, look, I'm going to throw my support behind Kamala Harris because she's a steady hand. And I think she stands for all the issues that I find important: LGBTQ rights, for IVF, women's reproductive rights, for democracy, for the rule of law. She's not a hypocrite. She's not a sexual assaulter. She's not a criminal. As a matter of fact, she's a prosecutor. She believes in law enforcement. She believes in backing police officers when they follow the rules, when they conduct themselves in the proper manner. Okay? So this is, not only is this going to catch you up and educate you this morning on these shows, we're going to give you a truth bomb for every day for you to go to work or wherever it is so that you can fight all the trolls who try to lie to you. So we know Taylor Swift is supporting Kamala Harris. So she put out a statement on her Instagram, but she also was at the VMAs on MTV receiving an award where she was voted on, I think it was Best Artist or whatever, and she had a message to all the folks in the audience and in the world. Here's Taylor Swift.
To the fans, I'm always trying to figure out a way to say thank you to you for making my life what it is, for making the Eras Tour what it has become, for making the Tortured Poets Department what it has become. That's all you guys for doing that and for voting for this award. So thank you to MTV for giving me this opportunity to thank the fans, so thank you for what you've done. And the fact that this is a fan-voted award and you voted for this, I appreciate it so much. And if you are over 18, please register to vote for something else that's very important coming up, the 2024 presidential election. I love you all so, so much. Thank you for this moment.
Okay, so let's see. I'm not sure if I had that one soundbite where we talked about. Let me just make sure, because there's a soundbite that I had. No, I didn't put it in there. But just so you know, so what's his name? JD Vance. Okay, I'm running for president, vice president. Okay. JD Vance was on, I believe it was CNBC, and he was talking about the Taylor Swift endorsement. And he said, I don't think that America cares about a billionaire entertainer who doesn't understand the issues, interests, and problems of the average American person. He said a celebrity billionaire who doesn't understand the issues and interests and problems of the American people. Now, was he talking about Taylor Swift? That's who apparently he thought he was talking about. He thought he ate on this one, but he didn't. Or was he talking about Donald Trump, whose show was named Celebrity? J.D. Vance used that exact word, Celebrity Apprentice. A Celebrity Apprentice, well, celebrity, he said. Donald Trump's show was called Celebrity Apprentice. That's why people think he's a great businessman, because we know it was all made up. It's BS as a character. And he is a self-proclaimed billionaire who does not understand the interests and problems of the average American person. So that argument doesn't fly. Every time J.D. Vance and Donald Trump say something, they are projecting, they're telling on themselves, right? Nappy Child, thank you. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the like. I appreciate that. So with that said, what is the effect? People say, celebrity endorsements don't really change anything, I believe this time it's different. And you know why I believe this time is different? Because there are facts. This is just not my opinion. I shouldn't say I believe it. The evidence is showing that it is different this time, because there are more people who are registering to vote and signing up after Taylor Swift made her plea via Instagram and on the VMA Awards. Check this out.
What are you seeing from Taylor Swift and her endorsement, especially in terms of driving civic participation?
Yeah, so I think this is a question a lot of us had after we saw the endorsement. I think a lot of people expected it was coming, but the question of how much of an impact will she have beyond just the excitement, the likes on Instagram, will it translate into voter registration? So we can see some of the back end data in terms of the data that is coming and hitting off the voter file that we build. And what we saw was this really massive increase. We're calling it the Swift effect now because it's really unlike anything I've seen. We're seeing a 400 or 500% increase in people coming and trying to register to vote immediately following the debate and in that period after Taylor Swift posted on Instagram. And what's really remarkable about that is usually you'll see these increases and they kind of fade away. In this case, we've seen it continue through the last 2 days into today.
How so?
Well, I'm told, I have 2 teenage daughters, that she was on the Video Music Awards on MTV last night. Apparently, she put out another pitch for people to register to vote. And so we're seeing this continued spike of 4 or 5 times what you would regularly see. So we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 9,000 to 10,000 people per hour just hitting our system. That's not indicative of everything, but it's a lot of it.
And
Okay.
what does this mean for the election?
What does it mean for the election? It means there are more voters in the pool, and some of those from those swing states and those battleground states who will be voting for Kamala Harris. They're not signing up to vote because our conservatives or MAGA people. They're not signing up to vote because Taylor Swift told them to sign up. They're signing up to vote because the Democrats or people who support Kamala Harris are signing up to vote because Taylor Swift said so. They're calling it the Swift effect. Now, look, I wasn't a Swiftie before. I think she's very talented. The music's a little young for me. I'm a little bit of an old head. I like, and I like sort of more traditional music. I listen to my Michael Jackson. I listen to some things. I listen to Cardi, and I listen to Chappell Roan. But I'm not necessarily a Swiftie. But I am a Swiftie now because I think she used her platform for good. She stood up in the moment when it's important, and I think it's important for all of us to stand up. And people think that, oh my God, as a journalist, Don, you shouldn't be standing up. I think we're at a critical point in our nation's history, and I think we all should stand up and we should be transparent about what we support. I don't necessarily agree with all the policies of Kamala Harris, but I agree with the democracy. And on the other side of a Kamala Harris presidency, there will be an intact democracy in this country. Just as I said, on the other side of a Joe Biden presidency would be an intact democracy in this country. Just as I believe the other side of a Mitt Romney presidency would be an intact democracy in this country. These are not normal. There's nothing normal about Donald Trump. A unique threat to this country, a unique threat to what makes this country really make this country great, which is diversity, which is immigrants, which is upholding the rule of law, which is religious freedom. which is giving women the right to be able to decide, and their doctor to decide what's best for them and their bodies. That is what America is about, choice and freedom. So I love that that Taylor Swift is doing what she can and risking really turning off, I think, some members of her fan club. She has enough money and she doesn't need any more money. But I think in the end, people will realize, hey, she did the right thing, and she will go down in history for this moment. So Taylor Swift, you made me a Swiftie, if not for your music, but just for your heart and for your integrity. Okay, so let's talk more about integrity and another woman on the other side who is going to play an important role and who's going to be the next president of the United States. And I'm talking about Jill Stein. Jill Stein has run for president a number of times. She is a member of the Green Party, and she never wins, right? And so what does Jill Stein have to do with all of this? She was on, I saw here at the Congressional Black Caucus, I saw Angela Rye yesterday. I did an interview with Angela Rye. We did a live Instagram post, and you can go and look for it. It's somewhere online, Angela Rye. But Angela Rye co-hosts this morning show on radio with Charlemagne the God, DJ Envy, and it's called The Breakfast Club. And so Jill Stein was on The Breakfast Club. They were interviewing her. And Angela Rye asked her about some facts. Well, let's put this one. I'm going to play this one first. Asked her why she continues to run and potentially be a spoiler. And people believe that she was a spoiler when it came to Hillary Clinton because the vote counting was so close in those states where she needed the Electoral College on her side, and Hillary Clinton ended up losing. Asked Jill Stein why she keeps running if she has no chance of losing, if she has never won. Listen.
Dr. Stein, in 2002, you ran for governor of Massachusetts and you lost. In 2004, you ran for state representative in Massachusetts and you lost. In 2006, you ran for secretary of the Commonwealth. You also lost. In 2010, you ran for governor again, this time against the first black governor in Massachusetts, Deval Patrick. You lost. In 2012, you ran against this country's first black president and you got just less than 0.5% of total votes cast. In 2016, you ran against Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, losing significantly with 1.4 million votes cast for you, but 0 electoral college votes, which I agree with y'all needs to be abolished.
Okay, so she keeps losing. She said, why on earth would you do that? Now, listen, I'm not saying this, but you can go and look. There are people who believe that Jill Stein is a Russian asset. I don't know that, but again, it's in the reporting. And if you want to look, because they don't understand why she continues to run. She's a free American citizen. She can run if she wants, but she has to understand, anyone would understand or should understand what the chances are. And why on earth would you want to come between this country to be a holdup between a democracy and non-democracy? She has to know what a threat another Trump presidency, another Trump administration, another Trump term would be to this country. She has to know. I don't believe she's that ill-informed. But Angela Rye pointed out something. Maybe she is that ill-informed. Here it is. Watch this.
I've worked on Capitol Hill. It's very difficult to get what you're trying to achieve. So just for example,
Jill can talk about what you can do just from the executive
Dr.
office.
Ware,
yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Just for an example, I'd love to know how many voting members in the United States House of Representatives?
So we have been blocked. The Democrats throw us off the ballot. They interfere. They put spies and infiltrators on our campaign.
How many voting members?
Compare us.
No. Answer the question. How many voting members in the United States House of Representatives, Republican, Democrat, and Independent? How many total?
How many total are there? What is it? 600 some?
No, it's 435.
Plus 100 in the Senate, right?
100. Yes, I said House of Representatives. Okay. 100 in the Senate. Of those 435 in the House, of the 100 in the Senate, how many? Just one moment. I'm not trying to put you on the defense. I'm just saying this because the Hill is my passion. That's where I grew up as a professional, right? how many of them are Green Party members?
Okay, I know where you're going with
I'm
this.
not going
You're
anywhere.
attempting to show that the
Just let
Greens
her-
are
let her answer
powerless.
her
I
way.
want to make the
Let her
point.
answer
I was not
that
trying
one
to
out
show
of
you're
every,
powerless.
Well, this is usually part of that argument.
What was
to
the
say
point
we
you were
don't
trying to
have,
make, Angela? What was the point?
I'm going to
Before you rebuttal, Dr. Stein, what was the point?
I want to know how many voting members of the Green Party in the House or the Senate currently exist.
Currently, there are none. However, if you look at the American people, how many are voting against the genocide? Hardly any.
Dr.
How many are
Stein.
voting for health care as a human right, which would actually save us $500 billion a year? We, the people, are not represented. So not being there is not a strike against the Green Party.
Okay, and that's fine. How many of them right now, based on, and I called it a wish list, it wasn't to be offensive, is I have a wish list too. I got one in the ideal man I want to.
It's dismissive to refer to a party platform as a wish list.
What I'm saying, but what
That
I'm
is dismissive
saying is,
language.
it's not dismissive. Hear my heart, right?
But I
I
could
heard
ask you
your
the
heart
same.
on the
Okay.
mispronouncing of Kamala. Hear my
Cool.
heart.
All right.
Because there are none that currently exist, that means you got to have allies. Who
Oh,
are your
absolutely.
allies
Yes.
in the
Yes.
House and Senate
Excellent
to help
question.
to see
Excellent
if y'all would have
question.
just slowed down a minute, y'all had guns blazing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's the thing. She has 0 allies. That's the whole point about understanding where you are in the moment. The reality of a presidency, and not only that, of being able to get your agenda across. As a member of the Green Party, she has no allies. There will be very few, if anyone, on her side. Let's just say a miracle happened and she became president of the United States, which we know it's not going to happen. I know the Lord works in mysterious ways with wonders to perform, but that would be a huge miracle and a huge mystery and a huge wonder for that to happen. Because she has never won an election ever. And she has possibly lost an election or elections for people. Okay, and she continues to do it. Why does she do it? I don't know. And then why does she do it and she doesn't know about government? By the way, shout out to my girl, Angela Rye. The best. I love Angela Rye. I love her devil may care attitude. I love that she is about the business. She stands on business. Okay, she knows nothing about the US government, it appears. So she is unaware of her chances, and that means she's unaware of a lot of things. That means she's ignorant of a lot of things. And Angela Rye, in a very deft way, showed that. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? And by the way, there was someone in, I forget who it was, and I wanted to read what you had to say, but I forget who it was. I tried to stop it. Oh, someone said the trolls are up early. The trolls are up early in the comment section. Good. I like the trolls to be up early. I like them to listen to this because then maybe they'll learn something. As I told you, for the first person who, by the way, gave us a generous donation supporting independent media, but tried to troll us and say, oh, Kamala Harris was, she had the answers to the questions or whatever, blah, blah, blah. That's so dumb because those questions were easy. I could have answered those questions, but Donald Trump couldn't. I could have answered those questions without saying, people are eating cats and dogs. And I knew that the Springfield city manager said there's no proof. J.D. Vance is still out there saying the manager is out, trying to make up. Anyways. And now you have the trolls in there and they're going to, what about AOC is right about Jill. AOC, I think, says she's a Russian asset, right? Okay, so let's move on and talk about Morning Joe. Now, I just mentioned the eating cats and dogs thing. Why would he say something so dumb? I was shocked. Were you guys shocked that he brought that up during the debate? I was shocked. So on a Friday, when people start talking to you about that, and I love all the memes about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets. Have you heard the music? I was shocked that he brought that up. I said, this is too silly. This is too dumb. This is too much of a conspiracy theory. There's no way it's going to come up. And boom, he went for it. Okay? Now, there are moments in presidential debates, historic moments where people remember the things. Remember where Ronald Reagan said, I will not exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience. Or I know Kennedy, and you know John Kennedy. There are so many moments, historic moments in presidential history. But what will Donald Trump go down in history for? Watch this.
These are the kind of elements of a national health insurance important to the American people. Governor Reagan, again, typically is against such a proposal.
Governor, there you go again.
When I hear your new ideas, I'm reminded of that ad. Where's the beef?
Yeah. Senator, I served with Jack Kennedy. I knew Jack Kennedy. Jack Kennedy was a friend of mine. Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Wow. He said it like he meant it. Like that's
eating the dogs.
No, did he really mean it? That's
And you're
he
no
thinks that's
Jack
true because he
Kennedy.
watches it on Fox News?
They're eating the dogs.
Doesn't he know better? Explaining this around the
My
world.
friends over at Morning Joe had the same reaction that I had, and the same reaction that everyone has, right? I can't wait to get home off of this, the beginning of the tour, and hug my 3 little doggies, and to make sure that Tim has not put them, on a pot and boiled them or something. I mean, wow. By the way, Winky Campbell, thank you very much. Mr. Lemon, my mom is in love with your book. Promise I'd tell you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot there was something that I wanted to share and I totally forgot. I'll try to get it in there and see if Andy, producer Andy, can share it. Okay. The whole thing feels like a 4chan gag, says a guy that knows a little bit about it. A guy that knows a little bit about it is one of the Lemonheads who's in the chat. Feels like a 4chan gag. It's like a failed experiment in misinformation. It really is. It really is. Thank you for that. So that is what he's going to go down for as his historic debate moment. Now, listen, there are some issues in Springfield. I don't know if you guys saw it. John Legend, the singer, very accomplished singer and musician, John Legend, is from Springfield, Ohio, and he went on his Instagram page and on social media and tried to explain to people the issues that are happening in Springfield. We explained to you a little bit earlier this week where we talked about what happened during COVID, when we talked about the immigrants that came in. And by the way, they're not illegal. I think there are refugees in some way. Who are coming into, there was an influx. So they are facing problems when it comes to the situation with immigrants, but there are no people eating the dogs and eating the cats. That's not the kinds of problems that they're facing. Someone to explain it is my friend over at NBC on the Today Show, and that's Yamiche Alcindor. Here's part of what she had to say.
Race now and new fallout over those baseless claims repeated by former President Trump in Tuesday's debate that Haitian immigrants in Ohio are eating pets. NBC's Yamiche Alcindor joins us now from the town at the center of this firestorm. Yamiche, good morning to you.
Good morning, Craig. Here in Springfield, Ohio, the tension is palpable. As many as 15,000 Haitians moved here legally over the past few years, according to state officials, after local officials advertised Springfield's affordability and new jobs. This morning, a stunning moment from the debate stage going viral.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Former President Trump spreading unfounded claims that members of the growing Haitian population in Springfield, Ohio, are eating animals. City officials say there's no evidence of that. Mr. Trump's baseless allegations setting off a social media firestorm.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Overnight, Ohio's Republican governor saying there's no evidence of the claims.
This is something that came up on the internet, and the internet can be quite crazy sometimes.
Haitian immigrants here shocked and hurt. This man, too frightened to show his face or use his name, says co-workers at his construction job have repeatedly asked him if he eats cats. Viles Dorseville, who runs a community center for Haitians, says many fled violence at home.
I got a friend calling me, asking me if he has to leave because he's scared for his life.
On Monday, Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, claimed on social media that there were reports of pets being abducted and eaten here, doubling down after the debate. What do you say to Haitian Americans and Haitian immigrants who say spreading false claims about them put their lives at risk?
Well, I don't think that
No one has spread false claims. What they've said, that small migrant community has caused a lot of problems.
Bill Monaghan helps manage a local Facebook group called Stop the Influx into Springfield, Ohio, and says he believes some of the baseless claims are credible.
It's going to continue to turn basically from an American community to a Haitian community.
Tensions have been high here since
So
11-year-old
here's the
Aiden
point.
Clark
We get
was killed in a school.
That the issue is an influx of immigrants. It's not the issue of eating the dogs and eating the cats, right? And if you have an influx of that many people, I think it's like 14,000 people in a town of 60,000, then you're going to have some issues. That is normal, and those are normal things to talk about in a debate if you want to sort of frame them and get people to understand it and put it into context. But to say that they're eating the dogs and eating the cats, and by the way, again, there was a report from another town of a mentally disturbed person who was not an immigrant. They were not Venezuelan. They're not Haitian. None of that. There were claims that that had happened, but it had nothing to do with Springfield, Ohio. It had nothing to do with immigrant. All of that is just a made-up lie. Okay, so that's the problem with that. Now, listen, Laura Loomer. Do you know who Laura Loomer is? Let me explain to you what Laura Loomer is, and I want to make sure because I want to get my notes to make sure that I'm explaining to you. Okay, so Laura Loomer apparently is the person behind this whole Haitians are eating cats and dogs conspiracy. Why did Trump say it on the debate page, on the debate stage? The answer is Laura Loomer. So she is a former online far right-wing troll, functionally serving as Trump's communication strategist because she flew with him on the plane to the debate. So apparently she's in his ear, she has his ear, and she's giving him all this conspiracy theory stuff, or a lot of it, okay? So I want to talk about the implications of this Springfield cats and dogs nonsense because it's funny and absurd, but guess what? It's also quite dangerous. So here's what I want to explain to you why it is so dangerous. I want to play some of it so that you can hear. This is Laura Loomer on Zeteo. This is my friend Mehdi Hassan's platform, Zeteo. And it gives an overview of who Laura Loomer is and just how dangerous she is and how wacky she is. Watch this.
Allies said she wants to execute Democrats, and I feel like we should talk about that. You might have heard Laura Loomer's name before. She advertises herself as the most banned woman in the world, because she's been removed from so many platforms. The reasons range from promoting disinformation to fomenting extremism to just kind of sucking in general, which is probably why Tim Pool brought her on his show last week. During the broadcast, Pool talked about how Trump should arrest Democrats as soon as he gets into office. Loomer had a different idea.
Should Democrats be in jail? No question. When Donald Trump gets elected, should he start locking them up? No question. Should there be lists of Democrats that need to go to jail? 100%. And the reason for that is they've committed crimes.
Not just jail, they should get the death penalty. We actually used to have the punishment for treason in this country.
Okay, can you just pause it?
I didn't edit that clip. The broadcast.
Pause it, and we're going to pick it back up. Just pause it right there. Okay, so Tim Pool, just so you know, I want to put context to this while we're in the moment. And if you can back it up like 5 seconds, and then we'll pick it up from there, Andy, please. Tim Pool is one of those influencers that supposedly fell for this Russian disinformation campaign, was co-opted, and then the Justice Department filed this brief claiming that the Russians were using these influencers to spread disinformation. The influencers are saying they had no idea, they were co-opted, they didn't know, but Tim Pool is one of them, and one of them who appeared to be reading from a script to spread disinformation. Okay, Andy, please pick it up.
Punishment for treason in this country.
I didn't edit that clip. The broadcast cut off like that. Now, I wish we could write off Loomer as just another unhinged podcast guest, but we can't. Despite losing 2 separate congressional races, Loomer has created her own type of impressive political influence. She's not only close to the most extreme people in Trumpland, Loomer is tight with Trump himself. In the last year, she has flown on his private plane, he's called her very special in a video, and Trump even tried to hire her to work on his campaign. A move so insane that Marjorie Taylor Greene spoke out against it, calling Loomer mentally unstable. Marjorie Taylor Greene. So that's the first issue. Laura Loomer definitely has Trump's ear. The second issue is, what the hell is she telling him? By now, I'm sure you can guess a bit of what Loomer believes, but I thought it'd be fun to just list 10 things Loomer has said or done or thought, and then let me know what you think about her being the White House press secretary. Laura Loomer is a big fan of the Great Replacement Theory. A really big fan. Let me put it this way. The Great Replacement Theory is to Laura Loomer what Twilight was to 12-year-old me. In addition to racist conspiracy theories, Loomer loves to claim school shootings are staged and that the traumatized children are actually crisis actors. Loomer honestly might be the most Islamophobic person in America, which is saying something. One of her most memorable moments in this space was in 2017 when she went viral after tagging Uber and Lyft, saying that she was late to work because she couldn't find a non-Muslim Uber driver. Loomer has said she doesn't believe that Muslims should be allowed to run for office and blames them, and especially Representative Ilhan Omar, for 9/11. Loomer's rhetoric towards Omar is exceptionally disgusting. She's referred to the representative.
Ilhan Omar wasn't even during 9/11. Ilhan Omar wasn't even in the picture. So you get the point. She is a extreme conspiracy theorist, right? Conspiracy theories that gave rise, or the kinds of conspiracy theories that go along with QAnon, folks. The kind of conspiracy theories that get kinds of conspiracy theories. That's Laura Loomer, and Laura Loomer is traveling around with the former president of the United States, and she's whispering in his ear. That's who Laura Loomer is. Now, y'all know who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is batshit, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is what Marjorie Taylor Greene, the extreme MAGA supporter in Congress, this is what she had to say about Laura Loomer.
This is such an important election. I don't think that she has the experience or the right mentality to advise a very important president.
Why do you think the former president is even listening to her? Do you think maybe she's getting bad advice, or he's getting bad advice from her?
I'm not involved in their conversations, so I can't weigh in on that. But I do know this, that her rhetoric and her tone does not match the base, does not match MAGA, does not match most Republicans I know, and I'm completely denouncing it. I'm over it, and I would encourage anyone else that matches her statements to stop.
Wow, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, I'm not giving any props to Marjorie Taylor Greene because of that. I'm just showing you there's infighting. They're fighting. Could be jealousy. Maybe say, why does she get to be so close? I don't know what it is. It could be, look, it could just be a broken clock, right? The broken clock gets it right at least twice a day, right? It's 12 o'clock twice. I don't know. But to have Marjorie Taylor Greene saying her rhetoric is too strong. Now, I think the reason Marjorie Taylor Greene said that is because Laura Loomer made a statement saying that if Kamala Harris became president, that the White House would smell like curry because they would be cooking Indian food, something like that, right? Tell me that's not some racist shit. And if you tell me, I hear all kinds of things about, they come up with all these policy issues and all of this. It's really the main reason, it's not all the reasons, but one of the main reasons, I should say, that people support this MAGA agenda and Donald Trump is racism. IV4, I said you the battle of racists. I'm not going to say what you said, but yes. Yes, you are right. You are correct. I believe it is racism. So now you have Marjorie Taylor Greene denouncing Laura Loomer, one extremist denouncing another extremist. Thank you, Sarah Temp says, yummy, I love curry. Yeah, so, right? Crazy. Just before, I wanted to show you guys something. And this is, ever since this whole cats and dog thing that Laura Loomer started, my producer and I were talking about it. Have you guys seen this from The Simpsons? It sort of put this in my mind and I can't get it out. This is a clip from The Simpsons. Here it is.
The sauce on your steak, with the cheese in your cake. We put the spring in Springfield.
They're eating the cats. They're eating
That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. That is amazing. Okay, listen, guys, I'd like to catch you up. Can I just tell you something? You guys keep thinking I don't even have the book here. I want you to go out and buy the book. I think it's really important. By the way, I want to thank my colleague, Laura Coates, who came out last night and moderated a conversation with me at the Politics and Prose bookstore here in Washington, D.C. It was a fantastic turnout. I got to sign books. I got to meet people. They told me they're part of the Elimination. So check out in my Instagram the schedule for my book tour and come and see me, okay? And make sure you order it. So let me just tell you, I told you about the guy that, when I got off the train here in Washington, D.C., and he said, he's a college student. He said, I want to read your book and blah, blah, blah. I happen to have one extra copy, and I gave him the extra copy of the book. Okay, so one of the Lemonheads named Tawana, she's a she has been a fan of mine for years, and she has, somehow found her way and slid into my DMs. And she said to me, she said, Don, please allow me to comment on your channel. Thank you. And I sent her a note back, and I said, and then she said, please allow me to comment on your channel. And then she says, she sent a picture of me with the book, and she said, send me one, please, Don, autographed to Tawana. I bought the first one. I've been following you since CNN. I live in Oklahoma and a caregiver for my mom. I am also living off Social Security monthly. Okay. And then she put her Lemonhead in there, number one. And I sent her back saying, send me your address, please. Also, to comment, you have to hit the subscribe button. Thank you. She sent me her address, and she said, will you please give me a follow and give my love to Tim and the dogs, and I will subscribe. Thank you. And then she says, I'm already subscribed to your YouTube channel, and I often comment. So thank you, Tawana. Okay, I don't know if you're listening now because I haven't caught up. So Tawana says, and we can put this up. She said, my neighbor texted me that I got a box from FedEx, but I am staying with my mom, and I can get a friend to go over and stay. Okay. And I drive a couple of miles to my house and pick it up. She has Parkinson's and early dementia, and I'll let her listen to what you said yesterday. And she had the biggest smile. I will send a picture when I go pick it up. Thank you again. You might hear from me again this evening, Tawana. And then she said, she sent me the picture. She and her mom got the book. There's a picture of her with her mom. And then I signed it. And she said, Lemonhead for life. You can show the picture of the signature. Lemonhead for life, Elimination. We are sending love from Hugo, Oklahoma. So Tawana, thank you so much. I'm so happy you got the book. And I appreciate it. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. And thank you for being such a loyal supporter. I really, really appreciate it. And I thank you all, too, for being such a loyal supporter. Please go out, because I think it's really important that you read the book, because you need to know before you go out to vote in the next election. You need to know. Okay. So also yesterday, I recommend that you guys please go and check out the show that we did yesterday live at 5. It's got some great information. It's called Real Winner, Kamala's Debate Surge. And it explains to you about the surge that she's having, just as we are this morning. But we have a little bit more information this morning. And I'm so happy that you guys joined me this morning. I am thrilled that you're a part of Elimination. Now you know, you can go out. Don is awesome on Audible, guys, says Joan Jabez. Thank you so much, Joan Jabez. Thank you. I enjoyed really reading the book. As I said, I go and there's so much energy and emotion in it. So if you can listen to it, that would be great. Watching from the UK says DL rather. So thank you all. Make sure you tune in today for Live at 5. Make sure you get out to your local bookstore, support your local bookstore, and also go to Amazon as well. And I thank you, Elimination. I thank you, Lemonheads. If you have any questions for me, check out our social media, and we'll see you back here at Live at 5. Okay, have a great day. Now you're armed with information. Now you can start conversations. Now you can defend the vice president if need be. Okay, have a swifty day.